this.
Nice.
So that's pretty cool.
Actually.
Nice.
Fucking,
That's a
fucking
nice.
huge shirt.
That's a nice way to start.
Yeah.
Is that the start?
Yep.
It's not me doing something stupid.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Misadventure Cast. And as always, I am John. We have Bob, Matt, and Nelly with us as usual. This week, however, we're doing something a little bit different.
Just a bit.
We have a special guest. He runs Retro Consoles UK. I'm just going to ring him up right now. That's why our overlays look weird right now. He is the owner and runner of Retro Consoles UK. You can find him on Facebook. He has an eBay page. He sells old games. He sells some new games. He sells consoles. He sells lots of stuff. Seashells by the sea. And this should be him here.
Can you repeat that, please?
No, never. So while we're waiting on Chris joining us here, how are we all?
Pretty tired, but
Yeah.
still doing okay.
Time is pain.
I'm not tired. I'm gonna be different. I'm gonna be an
Yeah,
individual.
Nelly's being rebellious today.
I've got tons of energy.
Energy from rebellion. Nice.
The
Hello.
hydration I'm getting.
Fair.
Jeez.
Hydration is key.
I'm not entirely sure if that's you, Chris, or if you're hiding your identity for safety reasons. You got a voice modulator on as well.
I'm in the shadows.
Yeah. Just do you know like when they get somebody up on like Watch Dogs or something like that, and they hide them,
and they hide their identity.
Yeah.
put them through a voice synthesizer. So we have
Yeah, up.
yeah. So you've come to join us. I've invited you to come and join us so you can talk a little bit about what you do. What do you do? Introduce yourself. Tell us what you do.
My name's Chris. I run Retro Consoles UK. It started about 4 years ago. It started an off chance really. I bought some games. I posted it on Facebook. Somebody kind of asked me where from, and I started doing a bit of buying and selling. And then about a year, I opened a shop in the indoor market, and it kind of really. After the shop had been open for a couple of months, a few people would come around and who I was going to host a tournament, like a retro, but they shop. So after contacting about 20 different pubs, one pub said we give it a chance. In that round, I ended up doing about 60 events in the end. It was everything from retro stuff, with modern tournaments as well. And that's kind of the video games events. Grew out of that, we just added more consoles and more
John, we only see your desktop, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm aware. I'm trying to have a conversation
Ah.
in the background while we're doing this. Just because for us, well, for me certainly, it's quite difficult to hear you at the moment. I think that might be a connection issue. It's quite garbled, so hopefully we might be able to sort something out about that. I have sent you a message. Probably should have done some tests before.
Then it wouldn't be a misadventure.
No, it would not.
Yeah, exactly.
I like spontaneous business
It's always a bit of fun, isn't it?
production, isn't it?
So, I've lost my train of thought. So we met a couple of years ago, back when you were down in the Aberdeen indoor market. I remember seeing the shop and it was quite cool because it was just, it reminded me of a place back in Edinburgh that used to go to quite a lot, which was Games Master, but you were cheaper than they were. Despite the fact that there's no reason why they should still be in business with how much they charge for some stuff. So it reminded me of that. It was quite cool, and I'd kind of wanted to do something with you at some point, but we just never got round to it. So it's kind of it now here. So we're kind of having a little bit of a chat just before we went on. What have you got in at the moment that's interesting?
So with the retro stuff, it's a little different to a traditional shop where you kind of buy the stock and you just sell it, and because the retro stuff, you know when it's going to come along.
Yeah.
So I've got some really nice Street Fighter 3 was only released on the Dreamcast, and I've never had a copy of it. I managed to get a really nice copy of it recently, so things like that. Got some nice boxed N64 stuff. So if you just with the retro, you just never know what's going to come or when you're going to get messed through Facebook and stuff. A lot of people know what they've got. Some people kind of don't really know what they have. The Street Fighter stuff and some nice box 64.
Cool. Because I've bought. So my thing's PlayStation 2, as you're well aware.
Yeah.
So I've bought quite a bit from you. So if it's quite handy as well. So if you can find them on Facebook. So you just got Retro Consoles UK on Facebook. And generally, if there's something you're looking for, just send him a message and he'll be in touch as soon as he's got it. So like, half of the stuff on my shelf here is from him. He had like a job lot. I was like, I'll take it. So, but then it's funny because when we went down to MCM, I had got rid of my PS2's games that I had at the time, which I sold to Chris. And I think I got like back like 6 of the games I gave him in doing that. So, like it was getting my own games back. It was like temporary storage. I was paying him as a safe store for like 8 or 9 months.
The good thing with the retro stuff is everyone's kind of got a retro console they remember from their childhood, whether it's a PS2 or a Mega Drive or a Spectrum. Everyone's always tends to have an affiliation with retro games. I think that's why people enjoy them so much. They like to go back.
Yeah, I
memory
mean,
they share with somebody, or a specific type of game, or a specific time in their life. I think a lot of it's nostalgia fact.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially for myself. And I collect Mega Drives person, and that's like my nostalgia. I remember going back to it and getting the game I had before. And
do you do the same thing that I do, where you just buy them and put them on a shelf and then never play them? Because I mean that's what I've been doing. So like I think I put like 4 of the discs on that shelf. Like I just go, oh, I've not got that. I'll put that in my collection.
I have a list as well. I tick it off that has Mega Drive, how all the listed games. Yeah, I collect Mega Drive myself. I'm up to about 140 games. It has got.
Wow.
I stick it on the shelf, and then I'll look at occasionally the console now and then. It's just getting them and ticking them off and sticking them on the shelf now. There's about 400 how Mega Drive. So about 140 in. So after a little while as well. It's picking it up, putting it on the shelf, looking at it occasionally. Even games I play or never heard of.
I'm probably at over 100 PlayStation 2 games at the moment.
Oh my goodness.
Just a rough count there. I think I've got 50 a shelf plus a little bit on the bottom. So I think I'm over 100 PS2 games right now.
I think they did 2,000 of them, not 2 games. So there's a lot. There's a lot out there.
Yeah. Some of it I'm just like the thing for me is it's a personal collection, so it's mostly games like that I remember playing as a kid. So I'm not gonna go out and just buy the multiple different editions of fucking Pro Evolution Soccer that came out on the PlayStation 2, for instance. 'Cause it's just not my thing. It's not a case of collecting every game for me
Yeah.
on that one. It's just,
Getting the ones you love.
yeah, pretty much. So what about the rest of you guys then? What? Because I think we sort of talked about this before, just in terms of like first consoles and stuff like that. But is there anything like game-wise that if you had the disposable income, you'd start picking up?
It's hard to say because I started off on like the first games that I remember playing with my family were on the PS1 with the camera thing that they had for that, and that's just lost now. I have no idea where it's gone.
I mean, that's the thing though, because once you get to a point, like, because I mean that's kind of for me. It took a long time to get to the point where I started rebuilding it. Because it's like you need to kind of get to the point where you're like, oh, I've got a spare tenner here or a spare tenner there, you know. And you kind of just pick up. But I know that like, Bob, you started with like the only console experience you really had was Game Boys, really, wasn't it? Until I appeared.
I had a Game Boy Color, and I think I went through 2 of them. And yeah, I then, because I grew up on PC, I just maintained that. So it wasn't until a while after I met you, because I'd always been toying with the idea of getting a console, and you eventually just pushed me and went, just fucking do it if you want to. Like, and eventually I got a 360.
That's I can confirm that's pretty much how it went.
Yes.
Bob
I was humming and hawing. I had
Bob
the
in our
money
teenage years was quite indecisive about doing it, and he was like, "Oh, I've got this money here," and I was thinking about getting one, and I was just like, "Just fucking do it, man! You're sitting looking at this cabinet of pre-owned Xbox 360s. Just pick one and buy it."
And eventually I did. I went for the Halo Edition 360. Sadly, it suffered red ring of death after 2 weeks. But
Oh, 2 weeks.
I know it was a bit gutting. But
Ours at least lasted a couple of years.
yeah, but then when I was offered a replacement, I went for a white one that was actually like the later model. It was the one after the arcades.
Yeah.
When they decided to start manufacturing them with decent quality solder. And that one lasted me a good few years before eventually it kind of died a death.
Died to death.
Yeah, it didn't.
Eventually, just deceased.
It was like a decrepit old dog. That was,
I mean, to be fair, it lasted longer than I expected because you put that through a fair bit of abuse with like traveling
Not
between.
abuse it. I travelled with it.
Yeah, it
I
still
was
counts
careful.
as abuse. It's still like unintentional abuse, but it still counts.
Like the CD tray wouldn't open without assistance.
Oh my goodness.
So
One of the USB ports was fucked.
It's interesting as well talking about the 360 because now with the announcement of the PlayStation 5 and the next Xbox and stuff,
Yeah.
if you go into like CEX these days and you look at Xbox 360 games, it's not happened to PS3 yet. I think it will soon though. If you look at Xbox 360 games, they've come down to the price of stuff that you would get on like PlayStation 2 and that, a couple of quid here or there. So they're like 2 generations old by next Christmas, so they'll become retro as well. When you think it, which is insane. Which is insane when you think about it, but that's the case. They'll be considered retro by that point. And that's when you go, I grew up on that shit and I feel old.
I don't want that.
Same as the Wii as well. A lot of people, the Wii's now coming. That is it quite retro? Is it not quite retro? It's kind of in the
It's in the Passover
three
stage.
consoles back. Yeah, the Passover stage. Yeah, which is
sitting in
Oh,
a
I just
care
broke my
home.
footrest.
Oh no.
Sake, Nelly.
This is what you get for playing with it.
You're meant to rest your
Aw.
feet on it, not
The
play
spring
with
came
it.
out. Oh.
Hey, so Nelly, you had a question.
Ellie, you had a thing.
You had a
Once.
thing.
What's that, a
Once
life?
upon a time.
I had a question. Yes, I had a question for Chris. I can't remember exact phrasing now because I scrolled past it. Basically, it was if you had to recommend a games console for in 2 sections. One would be someone who doesn't game, based on like the games that you have available as well as like the playability of the console itself. What console would you recommend for someone who doesn't play games at all, and then also for someone who does but doesn't have any retro consoles
I
or
think
any entrance into the gaming scene of retroness.
it kind of
Crazy.
depends what you. It kind of depends what you're gonna plan to do with it. So if it's
Mm.
more getting your friends round and maybe having a few drinks and playing some games, you've got things like the N64, retro wise. So it's 4 player and it's built. It's just people that have fun and kind of play together. Wii, you can't really go wrong with the Wii. Still, games are still, because it's a middle console. The games are all still pretty cheap. You don't need to know that hard. You don't need to be that hardcore with a game. You can kind of pick a game up with the Wii and the N64. And
A new game just released for the Wii as well today. Just Dance 2020. They released it for
Oh
the
yeah,
Wii.
because they were still releasing those, weren't they?
Yeah, they're still bringing out Just Dance games for the Wii.
They do.
Too.
Very dedicated, and that's what we like to see.
I suppose that is the thing that's good about the Wii and that whole platform, even the Switch,
Very inclusive.
is especially the Wii, because it was meant to be very squeaky, family-friendly gaming.
Yeah. It's Nintendo's best-selling console, and I don't think it'll be beaten for a little while. Like I think it's just been overtaken. It was the second best-selling console of all time, and it's just been overtaken by the PS.
Yeah.
But not by much, because it was kind of everybody from your grandma to your little sister can kind of pick it up, and which was good. I think it'll always be remembered fondly for the next generation. That'll be there in a few years' time. That'll be their retro thing they go back to.
Yeah.
It's one of these things where you go into, you go buy a couple of Wii games. You can go in with 20 quid and walk out with 50 games because it was just so much shit released.
Yeah, they got produced.
And you can just be like 50 pence here, 50p there, 75 pence for that one. And the next thing you know, you've got a bookshelf full of games that you're just never going to play.
I mean, a lot of people are new to collecting games. What console would you recommend? I tend to recommend the Wii, the PS3, and the Xbox 360 because you can get so many really good games in there. It's super cheap, sometimes only a couple of pounds, and it's not so bad if you're paying £1 or two for a game, and you only play it for a couple of days or a couple of weeks, as opposed to something like the Super Nintendo where you can be 30.
Yeah.
So that was when people kind of ask what's the best console to start on. It'll either be one from their childhood that they remember, or the mid-generation console like the 360 and the PS3 and the Wii. They're always a good starting point, I think.
What about handhelds? Do you do a lot of handheld sales?
Game Boy. Game Boy
That's what I
Color.
expected,
Game Boy.
yeah.
Yeah, you never really hold on to
that tends-
Pokemon games for long, do you? They're normally...
They don't. I don't have very long.
Yeah.
The thing with the original Pokemon games, on the original Game Boy, the blue and the red, they have them, that saves your progress. Obviously, the battery dies after a little while.
Yeah.
So you get the battery inside, and then you can open it up, which is pretty good to do. But especially a game with like Pokemon, where you really need to be able to save your progress. Game tend not to hang around for very long. My first Pokemon Blue on the original Game Boy was my first one I had, mid-90s. And it was before, so it was obviously link cables between two Game Boys rather than
Oh my god, I remember that.
I remember many times in the playground trying to use the infrared, and it never worked.
Yeah.
I never got it to work. We would have them pressed against each other. Yeah. We'd have them sat on a wall there, butted against each other, like holding them tentatively to try and stop them moving. Nah, nothing. Just never happened.
Right.
I remember on my DS, like, because I used to go down to my friends and we used to play on Nintendo DSs together, and then seeing how long you could stay connected to your friend while your mum drove you home. So you're sitting there like, I'm still gonna, I'm still gonna, and then suddenly it loses connection. You're like, no, and you'd always see if it got longer. I used to do that a lot. We'd start a game just before leaving. Like go into my mate's Animal Crossing village or something.
Nice.
And see how long I could steal her fruit for.
I mean, with the retro stuff and the older stuff, they had a lot of good ideas back
Mm.
then, but obviously the technology wasn't there
Yeah.
to support it. But you've obviously got the VR now on the PlayStation 4, but they had VR for the Master System late 80s. But obviously the technology was so bad then. It was just the idea was good. They're still producing that basic idea now, but it just obviously the technology wasn't there. And obviously they had the Virtual Boy, which was Nintendo's biggest ever flop. So that basically VR in the early 90s. So they've always had these kind of ideas and they've reused and stuff like that. But yeah, the technology definitely wasn't there, but the ideas are still good ideas. Like I said, they're still doing now with the VR, with the PlayStation.
Okay, cool. So, I think that was kind of everything we really had for you. Is there anything that you've got going on that you want to plug or promote or whatever?
Not at the moment. We'll be looking at video games day. Will be video games day 6 next summer. Just kind of takes about 4 or 5 months to put everything together, from the games we're going to play to the amount of consoles we're going to set up. Each time we've just got bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's just picking the game and what works well together, different themes. One year we cut everything into sections. We did like a racing zone, and then one time the last one we did just like past, we did it into decades. So it was all cut into decades. So we did 70s, 80s. So just thinking what the next idea of that was. Last time when we tried a 2-day event, it didn't quite work. We tried to add the cosplay aspect in a couple of times, and it's quite tied in properly. So it's whether we look into the cosplay bit and whether we're going to do tournaments we're going to do. And obviously the shop has gone now in the indoor market. eBay, we sell a lot of stuff through eBay. It's the way travel as it's moved on. I think with the retros, I think even when looking back at another game shop, it's tricky just to do the retros. I think you need to kind of watch out and do the more modern stuff and just kind of cover the bases. But no, obviously everything I get goes on my Facebook page, and we post out now all around Europe, which is really cool. You get a lot of Norwegians, like the rarer stuff and the pristine. Then the retro stuff, kind of two sets of viewers. The people that just want to play the games because they remember playing them, and then there's the people that collect the mint in box, brand new off the shelf stuff. So it's good that it kind of covers both areas.
Okay.
What's everyone's? Oh.
No, what are you going to say now?
What's everyone's favorite handheld?
It's Switch, which I can say technically.
Yeah.
I've still got a DS over there, which is, I don't know where the charger is, but I'll
Ah,
happily
it's-
play it if I had the charger.
It's the Game Boy Advance SP.
Mine was gonna be Game Boy Advance.
Okay.
The flip one.
Probably the S
Advances.
Game Boy SP,
Yeah.
because it was the first one to charge. It had a charge rather than having to put batteries.
Batteries in it,
You
yeah.
kind of pick it up and go, and it was small. The DS, I've got a couple of DSs. Obviously, the earlier ones could play the Game Boy Advance games as well, which was handy.
Yeah.
You weren't needing consoles. They were backlit rather than when the older stuff consoles weren't backlit. So DS is always
little
fun.
lamp.
You can yeah, you'd have like a magnifying glass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to get the light in there, yeah.
Like the connector was always a bit loose, so like it would stay put, but it was wobbly as hell, and if you moved a bit too much,
And hiding from your parents.
Yeah. Yeah, I
playing.
used to have rechargeable batteries, but I think, because it was 2 in the actual Game Boy Color, but
Yeah.
I had a thing that came with 3 batteries, so I have one of them on charge on cycle. I would never ever have it on full power.
That's quite something.
The problems we should invent a console, like a handheld console that just has these problems deliberately.
Relive your childhood. Have all
Yeah,
of these in one
essentially, yeah.
place.
Yeah.
That
Teach
would be something.
everybody the struggles we.
Yeah. So instead of saying, "Oh, kids will never know the struggle we had," we just give them the struggles. Just it's for your own good. It's for help
Educational.
But you've got to market it like it's fantastic, so that they beg their parents for it. Because that's what you used to do. You'd be like, "Please, please, please, get me this thing," and then it had all. And you're like, "Oh."
Oh, it's not that good.
Oh. So we've got to market it so it's fantastic,
I had a
and then
thing.
sell it crap.
I had a thing when I was younger. I had a choice between a Game Boy and the thing called a bar. And the advertising for the barcode battle was amazing. The video was great. They brought it out just before Christmas. I was like, I really want that. I really want that. When I actually got it, it was a game you would just scan barcodes of cans and beans and stuff. It was terrible, and I regret it every single day of my life. Yep, I bought a barcode battle instead of the Game Boy, and I regret it. And I'd walk around markets scanning cans of tomato sauce, and it was terrible. But the advertising was great. It was black. It was handheld. Probably about the same size as a Game Gear. It was lasted about 5 minutes, but yeah, that was my biggest regret.
Was it the thing? Because I had one where you went around and you scanned barcodes and there was monsters hidden in them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly,
that I remember.
exactly
I loved that thing. Different perspectives. I loved that thing. Except it made no sense because you used to find the monsters, like it wasn't actually like a different product. It was just scan barcodes and it would randomly give you a thing. Because I used to find the same monster in like a can of beans, but then also in like a broccoli. And you're like, why? So I think it just did it
tricked you
randomly.
for a while.
Oh, you've scanned enough things now. Here's your little claw machine working algorithm, and you get one for scanning this barcode. I loved that thing.
That's definitely an obscure sounding little device.
Did you never have one of those?
I remember the concept of it for sure.
Did you never? Oh, even John didn't have one. God, I loved that thing. You got a little pixely monster.
Yeah.
No, I was too busy playing with my Game Boy.
Whoever had a Tamagotchi?
Yes, you made the right choice.
Yeah, no. I had a Tamagotchi.
Who's had a Tamagotchi?
Even I've had one.
I had a
Didn't last long, but
My brother had one. I never got them.
My mum never let me get
I
one.
remember
I
my
got my
mum-
friend's one that ran out of battery,
Nice.
so it was really faded. And you're like,
I can't see.
I think my mum queued outside Toys R Us,
oh, that's so
and
cute.
I took it to school, and the teacher was like, "Yeah, I'm like, I have to keep feeding it. It's gonna die otherwise." Like, no, put it away now, otherwise I'll confiscate it. So that was my world. Like, I gotta keep feeding it, and then after about a week, it was a draw.
See, that's the thing. It was like a fantastic idea. It was like, look at this cute little virtual pet in your pocket. And then it just didn't work for the age range because we're stuck in school for 8 goddamn hours with like 1 hour break right in the middle of the day. And you're like, well, he died 2 hours ago because he hadn't gone to the potty or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's a horrible way to die.
Just a bit.
The deadly killer.
It probably could be if it got too extreme.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so thanks for joining us, Chris. It's much appreciated, buddy.
No problem at all. Thank you for having.
What I was going to suggest is that maybe one day I'll try and get up to you, and I'll see if I can help you figure out getting some audio quality. It might just be a case of like having a pair of headphones or something plugged in. I don't know.
Yeah,
and we'll get you back on, and we'll have you in crystal clear awesome quality, and then we'll say all of this again, but slightly different. And we'll
Definitely. No, thank you very much, guys, for having me.
much
Thank
Likewise for coming on.
absolutely, buddy.
Yeah.
And like I said, we'll do it again. I'm opening the door up to guests these days, so yeah, for sure, man. I'll give you a shout.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Cheers, dude.
Thanks for coming.
Peace.
Bye.
I like the idea of awesome quality being the audio version of HD.
Yeah.
Thank you. Awesome quality.
So that's unfortunately a little bit of I think a bandwidth issue there more than anything. But that's Chris. He's a good dude. Retro Consoles UK, Facebook. He's got eBay and stuff like that as well. You'll find them on social media stuff that we've now got because I have someone who's helping with that. Hello, people in chat. Oh yeah, I should probably say hello to people in chat. We've been so busy with
Oh yeah.
this thing. So,
Just ignore the audience.
once again, for the SoundCloud
I
users,
said
this
yaps to the
is
person who said yeet.
for the SoundCloud users, this is a live show that's on YouTube as well as a podcast that goes up on Fridays on SoundCloud. We are working on getting it in other places. So,
Expandong.
yeah, so if you head to the Misadventure Inc Twitter page, Instagram, Facebook, because there's now a Facebook page, I have a friend running that because she's good at it and I'm not. So, she's already started doing stuff. So, yep. So that's social medias now. I need to get a thing put up on overlays and stuff, but we'll figure that one out for the next show. So let's talk about BlizzCon.
BlizzCon, the wonderful event that happened.
So
over in the
Nellie's clapping happily because Overwatch 2.
She's just like.
I mean, I'm not really fast. I'm happy with Overwatch 1.
Um,
Overwatch 2 can sort of come or go. Like, I'm probably gonna get it. Like,
So the big thing everybody was expecting was the protests. So we'll get the not fun negative stuff out of the way because there was some of that there, and then we'll talk about the fun stuff, which was the announcements that they made and how happy everybody was, and then we'll kind of decide whether or not they balance out. So the protest happened. There were people picketing. Then the Diablo Q&A was hijacked by two people. One guy came up and went, free Hong Kong, and the other guy was just walking about in front of the cameras. And they handled it in their stride pretty well. They just went, yeah, okay, sounds like a good idea, and then just got rid of them.
yeah.
So it opened up with an apology from Jeff Kapkin about, or Kaplan, whatever his name is. I think it's Kaplan. I think it's Kaplan. So it started off with that, and he apologised.
No, it's Kaplan.
Yeah.
It's Kaplan.
So he started off as like this vague apology, but it was an apology, and he admitted that they were at fault and whatever else, which I still semi-disagree with. He shouldn't have said what he said in a professional capacity. Blitzchung I'm talking about. He was in a professional environment. He should not have made it political. Now, Blizzard's handling of it, maybe not the best, and that's my stance on the whole thing, is that they handled it badly, but he shouldn't have done it in the first place. You're in a professional capacity. You're being paid to be there because you might win, especially if you're in a final. So you're being paid to be there. So act like it. I am not going to. That is the one thing I've said to you guys, right? That's the one thing I've said is off limits is politics, because it causes problems. Not in necessarily what we say, but how it's handled. If you guys,
How others may perceive it.
yeah.
etc.
So if you guys had a strong political view that wasn't necessarily good or right or whatever, and I was then asked to do something about it and I didn't do it, so that's why I just say we just don't talk about it really.
Yeah.
Unless it is a black and white situation, we just don't talk about it, because with politics there's a lot of grey area. And it can cause problems. So that's the one thing I've said to you guys is off limits. It's just that, because it's
It's
problematic.
also even if it's something you think is fairly inane or you think is a positive or a good thing, somebody out there will have a reason as to why it's not.
Yeah. So that's why I say in a professional capacity, not that this is super professional, but I like to try. Um, it's just off limits. So I think in that concept that Blizzard did the right thing in terms of punishing him, but they didn't do it in the best way they could have because
No.
he shouldn't have acted. He shouldn't have made it political, and he did. So they apologized. There was this very vague apology, and then there was a bunch of Q&As where people were like "Free Hong Kong," and it was just like, do you know when you just get to the point where you just like shut the fuck up?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of where I was at with it. I was just like, okay, sure, shut the fuck up. So yeah, and it was like you just hear. It's honestly, I think that far along, it just kind of starts to feel a little bit petty.
At that point.
You're just like you're just doing this to get a reaction now.
Yeah.
You're not doing it because
Being
you
provocative
yeah.
instead of actually having a
You don't
meaning.
actually care. Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Mm.
not, and no, well, not necessarily they don't actually
Yeah.
care, because of course they care, but the fact is that like they're just doing it because, oh my
It's
god, the
not
heads of
wholehearted.
Blizzard are here, so we're just gonna say it to their face. How funny is that going to be? Oh, protest, haha.
It's not wholehearted at that point.
Yeah.
It's just
No,
there
it's
for the reaction.
yeah.
Provocative entirely, and that's about it, which doesn't get you anywhere.
It also doesn't actually help anybody that's currently
No,
stuck over there. You know, it's
Mm.
like
It's
Blizzard
people-
themselves, yeah, they acted badly when it came to handling a situation, but they don't have any power to do anything over there anyway.
Yeah, essentially. That's just how it is.
In what way,
Um,
Void? Because there's a lot that could be said about Blizzard, Epic, and Tencent. If you give me some specifics, we might go again. We might cover that, but we need some specifics on that one because that's a minefield of its own.
Just a bit.
So we had that, but then they opened with the announcement of Diablo 4, which looks fucking awesome. New engine by the looks of it, so it's gone for a more sort of photorealistic style. There may also only be 3-player co-op this time around, because they've only shown off 3 classes, and everything seems to be like the story cinematic was by 3 they come. So, and they've only shown off 3 classes, but you do have the druid. So now you'll be able to turn into giant bears if you fancy playing Diablo 4, and some other things as well. He has other things you can turn into. It's not just bears. Some kind of cat or something as well. Can't remember. So that got announced. I'm ready and happy for that. I made Bob watch it the other night. Because Diablo 3 was kind of our thing for a while. Then we had Warcraft Shadow, because everybody's calling everything Shadow something these days. Was it Shadowlands or some shit? I don't know. I didn't pay much attention. It's World of Warcraft. Hopefully one of you guys did. If not, we'll pass on. We'll move on to something else because it's World of Warcraft and I don't care.
Shadowlands, WoW, they've messed around with the leveling system, so now, like, currently and before and past, the max level you hit with premium was 120, if I remember correctly. And now they've reduced that to either 50 or 60, from what I've heard, which has caused some debate within the community themselves.
That had been announced for a while, and the concept and the
Yeah.
idea behind it was that it made it less of a grind to get to level cap. So
Yeah.
when you think about the start of World of Warcraft and you go all the way up to what, 120, I think it was 120, I think you're right with that one.
It was a long time they had to play for.
That
a lot of
is
levels.
days and days.
A lot of rating, etc.
days.
It's not even days.
Yeah,
Sounds like months, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's a while. Like, that's why getting to level 120 was it was an accomplishment in itself.
I have a couple of 110s.
There we have it. There we have it.
I've not played in a long time.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah,
A
like
couple they may all be hunters and druids as well, because let's be honest, if I'm gonna play something that much, it's gonna involve animals.
why is that? Why does that actually just sum you up?
Literally have, I think, a druid and 2 hunters at max level now, and that's it. None of I have other things. I have priests. I've other things. No, all of them are about 50, 60, and then I'm like, I'm bored. I'm gonna go start another hunter.
Nice.
So Shadowlands is something to do with going into the land of the dead or whatever the fuck it is in Warcraft and
Something like that, yeah.
doing shit, and there's covenants or
The
some crap. Right?
Azeroth's afterlife, as
Yeah.
it says.
So that's Shadowlands. That's another WoW expansion. What, 2 years after? Well, by the time it comes out, 2 years after the last one. It's still no word of them actually just going, oh, we should maybe just make a sequel and fix our
No.
engine and
No.
update
World of Warcraft
everything.
is perfect.
But no,
Cinematics
what we'll
perfect.
do is we'll just keep flogging the same old dead horse while our subscriber numbers continue to drop every single year and people only come back when expansions release.
I have a giant flying golden lion.
Now, when was the
World of
last
Warcraft is
time?
Perfect.
When was the last time that you played World of Warcraft and it wasn't expansion time?
I don't think I have I don't think I have the last 2 expansions.
So it's been a while.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
So there you go.
Um,
And then we got Overwatch 2. So there's a lot more to talk about with Overwatch 2, because there's some interesting things that they're doing.
you have more specifics in chat.
Yes,
by the way,
I
if you
will.
would,
I will get to
get to
those.
as long as we've acknowledged that
Yes.
they
I have been
have
looking
an
at.
existence.
Yes, I have been looking at that. It is something that we've talked about before as well, but I will, for his benefit, I will talk about it again. So, Overwatch 2 is releasing at some point. They haven't given a date. This is probably be talking about again at next BlizzCon, which then it might get a date. So the interesting thing about it is every character that's currently in Overwatch will be in Overwatch 2. They will transfer. They will all have a makeover in terms of visuals, but apparently their skills might get changed for Overwatch 2 as well. I'm not entirely sure about that one specifically. But there were certainly people showing off new Tracer skills, but that could have been from the story mode stuff because you level up in that. So that's the other thing as well, is PvE is a thing in Overwatch 2. So essentially what you are paying for when you buy Overwatch 2 is single player content and co-op content.
Yeah.
Because all of your
Having said that-
skins, all of your emotes, all of your sprays, all of that shit's all transferring across. They'll have a new coat of paint just to make them fit in with the new engine, but otherwise they will look exactly the same. The only thing that will change in terms of skins is your base character model between 1 and 2. What were you going to say, Matt?
So yeah, like if you currently own Overwatch 1 right now or standard Overwatch right now, there will be Overwatch 2 will be discounted at some point, if I remember correctly.
That's cool.
Just for a bit of an incentive, so you're not just paying a full 50 quid for a game that's the same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so the other cool thing as well is in terms of skins transferring, maps will also transfer. So if you have Overwatch 1 and 2 will be interchangeable with each other, so you will be able to play with people on Overwatch 1 as well as Overwatch 2, vice versa. They didn't want it to be
Limiting or completely
Yes.
separate, because otherwise it would just be a bit like,
because people have put
That's what I
a
was
lot of
worried
time and energy and money into Overwatch 1, and it would be kind of shitty for them to go Overwatch 2 and all we've done is a coat of paint and story mode, but now you have to buy everything again. So they
just to play with
Yeah.
But I was
others.
also thinking, like, with Overwatch 2, is you then, like, split the people, and then you might end up with, like, way less people in both versions. Because you've got some people who are like, well, I'm not buying the new game, and some people who bought the new game.
Mate,
And
it's,
then you have got
it
way
is
less
a
in both.
fairly unique concept in the way that they're planning to launch this, so it will be interesting to see how it works, because there is 2 games that run together, but one is going to be slightly better than the other, and it's whether or not
Yeah.
people are going to jump ship. Because if everything transfers, and if what Matt says
Yeah.
is going to happen, but it's going to
Get
be
the discount.
cheaper, then I think you'll see a lot of people just go, well, I might as well just buy it. I'll certainly buy 2 because I want the PvE
I'm
stuff.
probably going to buy 2.
Yeah,
I want
PvE
yeah.
is something that appeals to me. So at some
Because
point, I'll
that
probably
is
get it.
one thing that put me off buying Overwatch for so long, is it was PvP only. And then I didn't
That's
actually
it,
buy
yeah.
it. It was in Humble Bundle that I got it, the monthly.
It was,
So,
wasn't it? Yeah.
only
Indirectly,
game I played.
indirectly bought it essentially, but for charity, So
yeah. Hello, Scott. I'm curious how much Overwatch 1 owners will have to pay for Overwatch 2 content. Again, they haven't said anything. They haven't even given release dates, so I'd
remember correctly, it
imagine
should be
about half
should be
price.
20 quid.
Yeah.
Matt
Should be
Minor.
20 quid discount if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
That's decent.
So the game itself should be like 45, 50,
You probably get it for about
something like
half
that.
price, yeah.
And yeah, it's about half price,
Ooh.
20 quid off or something like
I got a little
Um,
spanner.
Yeah, for some reason you lost your mod or didn't have it, and I don't
I
get
don't
it.
think I ever
but
got it.
You
But
didn't,
you've
yeah,
got
I
it
don't think
now.
she ever got it.
I'm in money.
I don't know why. I don't know why that didn't happen before. So let's just very quickly go to Void's thing with Blizzard and Epic and
I feel like
stuff.
I've been promoted.
Okay, so Tencent's involvement is purely so Tencent. It's not actually Tencent that they have shares in Blizzard, but Blizzard's main Chinese involvement is NetEase because they are the guys who have developed the bones for Diablo Immortal. Now, their company put out something about the Blitzchung stuff, and Blizzard went, "You can't say that." It was something to do with pro-China, something like I can't remember what the specifics were. I looked at it yesterday, but go look it up because NetEase did make a comment about something else that happened. And Blizzard went, if it was our choice, we would have said, don't say that. They did it off their own backs. They didn't ask us for permission, and they spoke in for us, and they shouldn't have. Now, in terms of Epic, as far as I can tell, now obviously I don't have any insider knowledge and I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but to me, on the surface, it looks as though Epic are taking Tencent's money and then telling them to go fuck themselves.
From what it seems, yeah.
So they're taking their money so that they can build their platform, they can do the exclusives, but Tim Sweeney has said that say what you
You
want,
can say what you want.
we're not going to do anything about it. Now, somebody is going to have to do that to call them out on it, but, you know,
Yeah.
you take them at their word for what it's worth. I personally have not had a problem with Epic since the Epic Store opened, personally. Like, people get so, and I said this to a friend of mine, people get so uptight because the Chinese are involved in it some way. But it's not quite as bad as you think it is. Like, oh, I don't
People
want
blow it up just for the sake of blowing something up.
yeah, I don't want the Chinese
the last
having
part.
Overreacting. Yeah.
having my information and stuff. And it's like, well, they legally can't get access to that just because they have a 45% share. They're not allowed to. It's all part of clauses and stuff. They cannot visibly access. They are literally there to give Epic money.
Yeah.
That's it. That is all. They are a cash cow for Epic so that they can do what the fuck they want. Because Fortnite money's not quite enough, apparently. That's why they exist. Now, I just got a funny look from my friend sitting on the couch because of what I said. Now, I should clarify for her sake, in terms of gaming, it's not as bad as you think.
Just to clarify, because everyone needs clarifications.
Yes.
Well, if you don't clarify certain things, people will just interpret whatever the hell they
Yeah,
want.
essentially.
Yep.
That they will. So that is my personal thoughts on it, and that's generally just from the consensus of what I've seen online, is that they are just there as a cash cow. And far as Tencent go with Blizzard, I don't know. It's 5%. What the fuck does it matter? It's nothing. It's They don't even get to call a shot at that point. They're just like, oh, we're just there. It's basically enough to get them a board member. That's it. It's nothing. It's not a thing. And Blizzard did it because they're Blizzard, and people reacted quickly, and they shouldn't have reacted quickly. And you know, a lot of it, the onus of it lies a lot on the Chinese part of Blizzard that dealt with it. And they've said that, and this is like they dealt with it. And if we'd had time to sit and think about it, it probably wouldn't have gone that way. Now that does sound like a sort of generalized cover up of like, oh, you know, and
Yeah.
A
with
lot of stuff,
different different light and different eyes and stuff, it might have been handled differently. Take it as what it is, because you can't prove it, and what's the point getting upset otherwise? You're just going to end up getting uptight about something that you have literally zero control over. There's nothing you can do about it. In this specific instance, well, I tell you what you could do. You could stop spending your money with Blizzard, but you're not going to do that.
Yeah, because Diablo 4. You're still going to want that.
Diablo 4, Overwatch, World of Warcraft. Stop your World of Warcraft subscriptions. Stop playing World of Warcraft. Stop playing Overwatch. If you
Quite a lot of people
really
have
want to do
stopped
it,
doing that, to be fair.
then stop doing it. But do it in mass numbers so that they listen. And don't make
Yeah.
it petty. Don't ever make it petty.
Like, the
'cause
number
you
of
don't
image
help your
posts I
cause.
saw of people like screenshotting themselves clicking the unsubscribe or cancel button and stuff like that. It's like, okay, good for you, but
Don't ever be petty.
it's...
Like, if there's one thing that anybody ever wants to take away from me in terms of gaming, because I've been petty in other things in my life, but in terms of this, don't be petty. Don't be an arsehole. Because, you know, you paint a bad picture on everybody else. You make everybody else look like shitebags. And listen, we get enough shit from people in the press. Guns are causing, like, you know, games are causing violence and stuff like that. We get enough of this shit. So, if you're
Never
going
mind
to
the fact that
just do it quietly, salute your fucking account, and then just fucking delete it or some shit. I don't care what you do. Just don't be an asshole about doing it.
it's like when it comes to like video games getting blamed for violence, it's like the common scapegoat. You go back to just before games were a thing, they were blaming movies, they're blaming comics, they were blaming any other medium. But video games became the popular thing, so they're like, oh, let's blame that now.
Yeah.
There have been numerous studies done on the impact of like gaming on a child's psychology, and they've actually found it reduces aggressive tendencies. They've actually found it helps in a number of cases because it's an outlet. There's a study that Hillary Clinton authorized, and she actually refused to publish the results because they didn't agree with what she wanted. It's just like, wow, that's clearly why politicians should not dabble in science, because they only care about the result they want, not the truth.
It is.
And it does annoy
Parenting.
me.
Yes.
Yeah,
There's a big influence in that.
yeah,
parenting.
exactly.
I wasn't an angry child because I played video games. I was an angry child because I got the shit kicked out of me every day for 6 years.
Yeah.
That's why I was
You'd
angry.
be like that. But then
Yeah.
the fucking boomers say games, haha.
The video games were the thing that kept me calm. Do you know what I mean? Like, come on, guys. So, yeah, so that's the message from this. Just don't be petty about it. If you want to do something about it, stop spending your money. Stop giving them your money. Me, personally, it's a shitty situation, but as I have always said and will continue to always say, I go where the games are. And if the games are good, then I'm happy. If the games are shit, then there's fuck all I can do about it. I've spent my money already. That's it.
I mean, if you
That's a lie. You have a podcast now. You can complain on that.
And I try not, I really try not to. Like, and it might not seem like that, and I'm sure that somebody could go back and just do like a fucking supercut of all the times I've complained about a game being shit. But at the end of the day, I've always said I've paid for it, and I'm now living with my choices. So, you know, not every game is going to be a 10 to me. So, yeah.
But
Just,
also, like, there are some situations where you can actually just go back to the and refund it or trade it in and
But-
get some of your money back out of it, you know?
but even then, I still don't see the point in doing that. I think.
Well, I mean, if it's a shit game and you're just going, fuck it, I'll trade it in sooner to get a bit more cash back.
I mean, yeah.
Just because you go, I don't fancy completing this.
Yeah.
That's not you protesting, that's you just going, nah, I didn't enjoy that.
I mean, for me, I think it's more like because I don't really buy physical now; I buy digital more than anything.
Many do, yeah.
Yeah, and I think the money should still really go to the developer. I don't feel like I should take that away
Oh,
from
yeah.
them because, you know, maybe the money that they didn't have to refund out, they could make a better game next time. And Bob, you've known me long
Sure.
enough to see some of the shit I've played and loved and enjoyed. Like,
Yeah.
I love a bad game. I really do. And I
Well,
don't.
you love a bad game.
Depends on
that's
what
still
level of
playable.
bad.
I've played
Like,
games that are unplayable. Bob, I have finished Sonic 06.
Okay.
Great.
Would you ever want to repeat that experience, then?
If it was for the views, then yes, I would play
Well,
it
I know
again.
what I'm going to get you to do on that charity live stream, then.
I'll finish Sonic 06 in that one charity live stream if I have to.
Good luck.
It is a rare appearance from an Owen.
It is an Owen.
Oh,
We have an
hey,
Owen.
buddy.
So, right, let's move on to some slightly lighter topics. I am kind of out of topics because I had my guest and BlizzCon. So, what you guys got?
I need
I-
a 2-minute break.
Go.
Sorry. Thank you. I've been thinking about it for a while.
Right. Run.
I'll be really quick. Start without me on a topic that I don't have much information on. It's fine.
Bob, what you
We'll
got?
just have an interlude. Doo-doo-doo.
You're just gonna focus on that. What
Yeah,
is
just
that?
a
It looks like
cloth.
toilet paper.
It's actually just a cloth that I use for cleaning my screens.
So, what you got,
Same
Bob?
sort of pattern.
I've been doing some shopping and I've gone all blurry. Come on, focus.
Just put something up in front of it.
There we go.
There you go.
There we go. It's refocused. Yeah, I have a new toy. Ba-ding.
Ooh, Resident 7.
Yeah, shiny. I got it yesterday, but I didn't. I realized I'm not gonna have time to build
Install
my
it.
PC
Yeah.
before the cast. So fuck, I'll leave it. It'll probably be the weekend now. So, one little cool thing is on Saturday I'm going to Glasgow to the Glasgow gaming market. It's a new thing over there, and it's a lot of retro games. So it actually ties in nicely with the guest we had earlier, Chris. Yep, I got the name right. I remembered. So I don't know. I should have asked actually if he'd heard of it. I don't know if he'd be going down to it.
Probably has, but he doesn't spend a lot of time.
Well, this is the first year it's ever ran, so
Yeah, I mean, there's been like other things similar to that in Glasgow.
yeah, there have been.
So you would be aware of it for sure.
So yeah, it's just going to be an interesting thing. I'll probably only be there for like half a day, but yeah, if I come home with a retro thing, you'll know. I don't know if I will actually pick anything up. There is meant to be board games and other things, so I might actually pick something up there that I've never tried before. Because while we talk a lot about computer games, there's actually a lot of board gaming stuff that I think many
Yes.
of us enjoy.
Yes, and we'll maybe figuring that one out sooner or later.
Yeah, I mean, we're probably going to continue with the D&D stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that in a bit.
Yeah, which I'm kind of keen to do.
Likewise.
Yeah, it's quite fun. I've also actually come up with a character design that I quite like.
Ooh.
Although I won't use it straight away.
Be rushing into it too quickly, I guess.
Yeah, so now that Nellie's back, she'll get to find out this new character concept for a D&D character. And I was thinking, like,
I'm excited.
something like a halfling druid whose wild shape, yep, whose wild shape is a goose.
Oh my god, yes.
I'm going to see if can you go evil as a druid? I think you have to be neutral, don't you?
You have
It's
to
just
be
chaotic. It
neutral.
doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be evil.
Oh,
It's just chaotic.
You have to be neutral
right?
on one of the two options.
Right, so I could be like neutral evil.
Chaotic neutral.
Yeah, chaotic neutral.
Yeah.
that'd be-
No, chaotic
Chaotic
neutral would
neutral.
just fit that beautifully because you just do chaotic things for no reason.
Yeah. I am a goose.
Like,
exactly, right?
Like me, just picking fights for no reason.
Yeah, look at it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it would be.
That is very beautiful.
I could just like run up to a really important character in the game and just honk at them for 2 hours non-stop.
It would be amazing.
Wait till they go to bed and just sit at their window.
Or do
Great.
it until they just decide to just end you and cook you. And have goose.
Well,
for
no,
dinner,
at that point I wild shape back and then
Yes.
run away.
if you're quick enough.
Scare the shit out of them.
So on the subject of D&D,
Mhm.
me and Bob have had a little chat. We are
Exciting
going
news.
to start writing some stuff. So I'm going to help him out with some of the creative writing process of that. We may expand our team. Our little social media friend, our little social media gremlin. She react? No, she didn't react. Little social media gremlin. She wants to do some D&D. There we go. There's the reaction. So yep, we'll be expanding that. We're gonna probably talk about it a bit more soon because ideally we could go and start in
Wow.
January. So we need to get something something together.
It's gonna be quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we've got a fifth player, that takes the pressure off me
Yes.
to play, and because it's just more stuff for me to track.
So I quite enjoy creative writing, but I don't know a lot about the world. So I think inevitably what will happen is Bob would be better with like monsters and people and situations, but I would be better at maybe writing how. All right, Mikey, how's it going, buddy? Nice to see you here. So it'd be
Yeah, actually.
pretty much, man. So yeah, I think I'll write us up like ridiculous situations to find ourselves in, and then we have to kind of figure our way out of it. And then
Attempt to
Yeah.
try
Bob can
do
do a lot
things.
of the encounters and stuff like that. I'll just find ways of us.
Yeah, I would fill in all the technical gaps
Yeah.
that kind of go right. No, we can't have 2.5 million zombies here. We'll go with a couple of hundred.
Maybe round it up to the
I
nearest.
was more
half a
thinking.
mil.
Nearest 1,000.
I was
Yeah.
more thinking that we Trevor it from Grand Theft Auto, where we just wake up in random places with the police on us. And we need to figure out why and what we've done and who we've killed.
That's actually not
That's
a
a
bad
good-
idea.
Yeah.
You wake up, but the adventure starts in combat. You are fighting off. a
You're
very heavily
also
armored
you're
guy.
also naked with 7 people dead around you already, and you've no idea
Yeah.
why.
You're holding a sword from the last enemy you've defeated, but without your knowledge. Something chaotic
But
like
without
that,
any
right?
underwear.
So that's the kind of shit that I'm wanting to do. Just these insane situations that are just. But I'm not gonna do it all the time because there's obviously an escalation there and there's gonna be a ceiling that you're gonna hit. So it will just be occasionally I'll just get a situation where we're just dropped in, and we just kind of have to figure it out from there. And then Bob will come in with the technical knowledge and tell me that I'm wrong and I can't do that, and then I'll do it anyway.
Yeah. I mean, there's always going to be some craziness in D&D. I think just having you there writing it will enforce that.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I'm sure it's obvious.
Because it's a renewed focus on other content for the channel as well. So we have had this discussion about the content that Bob's making and how he feels
Yep.
about it. And then we are planning another thing for soon, which is just going to be me and Bob at the moment, which is going to be essentially, I think what I'm going to call it is Game Club. I think is what we're going to do. And it's going to be essentially book club, but with games. So we'd play a game together, or sort of separately up to a point, and then we get together and we discuss that. We'd have like gameplay footage playing over top of it. Or alternatively, it'd be just whenever me and Bob are playing a game, just whatever we're playing, we just record what we're doing. Don't have to talk around, just raw gameplay, and then just super cut together. And then just as the game changes, we'll just talk about different things. It's super easy editing for me, and and just have that discussion about games or mechanics or just a point. You know, especially if there's a particular bit that's really frustrating you, we can kind of go through why that is, because me and you break that down in different ways. So, because it goes back to Wolfenstein Youngblood, where your reaction was to just go, fuck it, I'm done. And I was like, one more time, and you wouldn't do it.
Yeah, because that was that final fucking boss fight before they fixed it.
Yeah.
And then we ran in after it patched. Whoops. We didn't actually read the patch notes before, did we? Or certainly I hadn't.
No.
And we went in and the fight was super easy. And I'm like, the fuck happened? Then we looked up the patch notes and went, oh, they actually fixed the fight because it was too hard.
Yeah, because I mean, we did that just before one of the casts, not long after it came out, because we were telling you guys about it, and it was just we were just
I remember you
exacerbated by the whole situation because we'd done it and we thought we'd beaten it while it was harder and it was easier, and we were just deflated by the fact that our victory had been robbed from us from a patch. So we've got some plans for going into New Year. I think the game club will start pretty soon. Just us trying to find something and the time. So, but there'll be updates on that now that we've got proper social media up and running. So, yeah. So what else have we got? Because we've still got like 40 minutes left to fill. So
I've got a bit of a wholesome thing that's just really, really nice, and that's the news that many folks heard about. Keanu Reeves has gone public with his girlfriend, and I'm just
They're
like,
so
The
"Oh,
first time in
They're
a
so
while,
cute.
yeah.
It's 2 decades, isn't it?
yeah." He's had other relationships,
Why?
but this is the first sort of long-term committing one that he's
I
been in.
think the others have been rumors, weren't they?
Yeah,
They were never
Yeah,
like
he hasn't-
confirmed things, so he could have not.
yeah,
But it's
yeah,
really cute.
it is. Given what we know of Keanu Reeves and that he,
Is immortal.
yeah, it's difficult for the immortals.
guys, I just
you
want
know?
to point something out. Okay.
Mhm.
So Caitlin likes to pretend that she's a very strong, independent woman. Okay, that she doesn't need anybody in her life. She doesn't need a man around or anything like that. She can't open this, and she's just handed it to me.
So judgy. If
I
you get it
know, right?
open, she loosened it for you. She's the one who opened that jar.
I just find it
She's
funny.
just making you feel useful.
It's just
Better.
hilarious to
This
me.
is the real truth.
It's so funny. I mean, it's just like she's gonna.
Though,
take me after
though,
this, but-
to be fair, at my old house, I can't remember what it was. There was something in a jar, and it was salsa. I got so excited, and I bought chips and salsa, and I could not open the salsa for the life of me, and I had to go knock on the door of one of the people who lived in my house. Bearing in mind, I just lived in a shared house, so I didn't know these people to any extent. They just happened to live in the same home as me, and I knocked on one of their doors and was like, I am so sorry, but I really want salsa, and I don't want to go buy anyone. But it was either that, and I was deciding which was least embarrassing, and one of the options was knock on his door, and the other option was go back to Tesco and say to the shop people that I couldn't open the jar and can I please get a new one?
But what if you couldn't open the new one?
Can
I was gonna try and open it in the store.
I
Oh,
guess
no.
how
I
it
couldn't.
how
I'd be
it
like, please, can you open my salsa? And then walk back with an open one.
can I guess how it really went down?
Mm.
Just you with a tub of salsa, semi crying, with a mouthful of crisps, going, "Open it!"
I was so sad because I did think maybe I just won't. I was like, maybe I just won't tell anyone. And then I was like, no, because it was like proper like Dorito salsa. That's like £2.50, and I do not have a lot of money. Yeah. And I was like, I don't have a lot of money. I don't have the money to waste a whole jar of salsa until I next go see my parents and be like, Dad, like,
For them to come
please."
over.
Yeah, Dad, I know it's an hour-long drive, but if you don't mind, you just come to my house and open my salsa.
And then immediately leave.
And then immediately leave. And no, you're not allowed any of my chips and salsa. They were expensive.
There will be no payment for this. Did you not like do the whole trick of like where you tap the lid against a bunker or
tapped it.
something?
I
Hot
tapped
water.
it.
Scott
Yep.
said pierce the
So-
lid. So you just poke
Yeah,
a hole in
I
top
totally
of
did.
it.
I tapped it
Yeah.
on the edge. I ran it underwater. I even shut it in the door and tried to turn the jar.
You'll never get the grip from a door. Like,
No.
Oh no.
But I
That
didn't
doesn't
have
work.
anything. I was like, what can I use that is like gonna hold it? Because obviously you can't like put it like between your legs because jeans and stuff is like slippy, so that's even worse.
Yeah,
And I
I
was just,
think rubber gloves for washing up sometimes.
I don't think I owned any.
Alright, because like you
Wash up
just
with hands.
because it just helps with the grip.
Yeah.
You can apply that bit more force. Because I find whenever there's something I can't open, it's usually because I'm like my hand is just
Slipping.
sliding around it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
if I had friction, I would be fine.
Right. So
Just
this
stab
is
it.
how you know
Yeah,
that
let's start.
this is how you know that
Use my
Scott
neck.
is from Glasgow. His whole thing is just stab it.
Yeah.
Next time I'm gonna do that. I didn't think to do that. I googled how to open jars. I couldn't find an option that worked. I think the door frame thing might have been Google. I can't remember. Probably
Possibly.
not. Possibly.
But
I
because
think it was just like lean on the door and
Yeah.
turn. But
Normally use my tin opener. It's a bit difficult with like a jar lid though.
yeah.
Like they're not designed to grip.
No, you just pop it.
No, I suppose yeah.
Yes, Scott, I'm aware that
Stabbing
stabbing
does
does work.
Depends on the context.
Stabbing works in a lot of situations. Just most of them end you up in jail.
That's not a
Well,
problem, Brent.
It's fine. All the jars in my life.
That's
are fine in
awfully
some way.
specific.
Just put the tip of the knife between the lid and the jar. try
Just the tip.
Voila.
God's sake, John.
Works. So
We are a
Tins too.
professional podcast.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, still we pretend anyway.
Yeah.
We can try.
Anything else? What other? Oh shit. The cat's about to have a field day. I just dropped these treats all over the.
Jesus.
Just let him clear them up. He'll be fine.
Yeah, that's not the. That's not.
That's
That's not
how
it. That's not it.
That's how the cat becomes a mega chunk.
Yes, you fatten the beast, as some say.
We were talking about fat cats the other day. The fattest cat at work is 15 kilos. I think it's 15.
What?
He is a Maine
How-
Coon, but he's a very fat
Still.
Maine Coon.
Nero,
Maine
Nero is
Coons are
near enough 4 kilos. He was 4 kilos when he got weighed like 2 weeks ago,
My
So-
Molly's 3.9.
and he's 6 months. Near enough.
Chunk boy.
So he's
My Tess is chonk.
so he's
So
he's
fat.
been told that he's not allowed to eat as much as he was because I don't want him getting fat. Anyway, enough about cats.
Fat cat.
So, what else have we got
Why-
What else have we had going on the last couple of weeks?
I think Bob had more than just happy.
I did.
Give
I
me
was just
these.
giving other folks an opportunity to jump in with something of their own. If anybody wants to. If not, I'm going to
Very
steal.
little has happened besides BlizzCon from
Well-
what
Actually, I've got a question for you, Matt.
Besides, yeah.
What's your actual feelings about Breakpoint now that you've played it?
There's a few bugs, obviously,
A few.
that make it a bit annoying. No, I'm not actually come across too many. Besides, like the drone, and then ADS being a bit weird sometimes, and that's about it. That's all I've.
What about the
come
game in
across.
general, though?
The game itself is largely like what I expected in terms of, like it's basically what I like playing. That's why I played. That's what I did on Wildlands for so long, was just going around on my own, not using the bots because they were annoying, and just clearing out missions on max difficulty.
So, how do you feel about the revamp that they're planning then?
The revamp, yeah. So they've got a bunch of stuff lined up for this month. Well, interesting in the future as well. So they've got a title update. A title, just an update. Let me check the details on that. I retweeted it.
Let me check my retweets.
Let me check. So it's called a title update. So in 6 days, it'll address a bunch of bugs and shit.
That's a lot of shit.
Yeah, just to revamp it, as well as a few faction missions and stuff like that. So just giving more content to the game, because the game itself progresses every now and then. It's just not just like the game itself. It's not the same on release. In terms of the missions and stuff. So it's already week 2 right now, obviously, and then week 3's happening in terms of the chapters. No, the chapters released every 3 weeks basically. So we're in the second one, the third one's approaching next week. So that just gives a bunch of new missions or different missions to play, which I've been having fun with. Some of them are a bit the same, just in different locations, but that's just what you can expect. So that's not necessarily a weakness. It's just nothing new.
I think over
It's
the
just about
next
standard.
couple of weeks, I am actually going to try and finish Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Odyssey. Oh, I've got like 150 hours in that, and I'm not even started the campaign. I'm not even started the DLC rather. That's pure base game. 150 hours on Odyssey. It's phenomenal.
I'm about 65% done with the story. Because I was not doing what you were doing, but I was wandering aimlessly across the mountains.
Okay. So whenever
bullying people.
whenever I went into a new province or whatever the hell people call them, I would 100% the entire thing, and then do the missions there. So I go around, clear out everything, and then usually mess up some of the missions that I had because I had already been there and killed the guy or whatever, something like that, or picked up something. But that's just part and parcel of just exploring and right? And so that's one of the reasons why I have 150 hours in just the base game, because I'd go around killing everything that I could.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I think I need to finish that now because it's annoying me that it's a really good game and I just can't bring myself to play it for longer than 20 minutes. Just because it's one of these things that you get lost in real fucking quick.
Yeah. Like I found myself playing for about like 2 to 4 hours at a time.
Oh, and I've dipped out of Borderlands, man. I'm waiting for full DLC.
Wasn't there a Halloween thing? Did you touch that?
That's what Omen's
Yeah,
just
Oh,
talking
yeah,
it's
that's
about.
what
just
I was
it's
just
an
touched-
event,
uh,
and apparently it's kind of broken the game a little bit.
Yeah, right.
In
In
terms
terms
of
of balancing and shit.
Yeah, so like some of the
Yeah.
weapons and stuff that are dropping are like anointed and stuff, and
Nuts.
they're leaving this kind of stuff in the game after the event's over as well. So it's not just a case of like it's changing the weapon pools, and the Maliwan stuff is going to change the weapon pools as well. So there's going to be like these 3 separate drop rates or drop types for legendaries, and like some of them just aren't worth it, and people are now just being swarmed by legendary drops and stuff. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna lay off a bit until DLC comes out.
They've been messing about with like balancing and stuff quite a lot. from what
Yeah,
I've
and
heard.
like they're nerfing really good builds for certain characters.
Yeah.
So like Moze has been nerfed into the ground. So like,
Oh.
she had like an unlimited ammo build that just doesn't work anymore because they just nerfed the shit out of her.
I was gonna play Flak, and apparently Flak got pissed about.
Yep. So like
About-
one of his main builds got nerfed. Amara, her elemental builds are no longer as strong as they used to be. And it's like, but you want people to have fun with the game. They were having fun with the
Yeah.
broken builds, but then you take it out.
Part of the point of Borderlands is having ridiculous fucking characters.
And I get what they're trying to do. They wanted to have like that sort of Destiny thing of like, you know, these are your characters and balance and patches. Fuck off. The whole point of it was that,
PvE game.
they were supposed to be broken builds. They were supposed to be, you know, like that. But no,
Maybe
no.
slightly turning it down slightly. I wouldn't
Yeah.
mind that, because otherwise then it could get potential, like you could view it as boring.
And I think the other thing
potentially
that's
boring,
started to
but-
sour me towards it as well is that they're not doing new Vault Hunters for the DLC.
Really?
Yeah, they're not making
It's just
new
the
Vault
base
Hunters.
4?
Yep.
Oh fuck.
I was like,
Bro, Krieg and Gage were my favorite ones.
they changed things for the game.
They were my favorite ones in Borderlands 2. Yes, me and my mate had a playthrough like just base game, and then once you completed base game, we'd bought all the DLC. So we got the Game of the Year version after we completed base game, and then did another playthrough with the DLC characters, and that just changed everything.
There's no one in that game like Gage, and I love playing Gage. And
Oh, Gage. Like most people I know loved Gage, like straight up, and my mate did a cosplay of Gage, and dude, I nearly died.
oh, and I know that they're planning to do new skill trees, but that's not for me.
That's not the same.
It's not the same
Yeah, that's just a
It's not the
tweaked
same.
character.
because
Yeah.
then all that's doing is changing a build for a character that already exists. It's nothing. It's not new.
New
It's-
content is always the
when
more
you
appealing
take
thing.
when you take Gage and you take Krieg, as much as I didn't like Krieg, he was totally different to anybody else, and Gage was also totally different to anybody else. Especially in a game like Borderlands 2, where you know 2 of the characters, really even 3 of the
premised.
characters were clones of the characters from the first game. You know, and then
Yeah.
with the Gunzerker being probably the most distinct, but also very much like Brick, because he had like the dual thing and he went into like a
Yeah,
giant
Brick
fuck off
with- but
anger.
with more guns.
stance and
Yeah,
stuff.
essentially just a more armed Brick, but less
Yeah.
punchy, more.
But then you take Krieg, who was all about self-destruction to make himself stronger. You take like Gage, who had Death Trap, and you could build either Gage's Anarchy up, or you could build Death Trap up, or if you were high enough level, you could do all of it. You added
And it
in
was a
these unique
different game.
characters. Even with pre-sequel, when they put in Baroness.
Pre-sequel was fun, honestly.
Um,
People don't rate pre-sequel, and I just thought it was actually really good and on par with Borderlands 2. Straight up.
So me and Bob played pre-sequel, and I didn't have the greatest time with it, but the Claptrap DLC they did was really good.
Claptrap DLC.
I didn't have any DLC with it. I didn't play any DLC with it because
So they only released one pack, really, that it was any of any substance. They did like a couple of sorterdoms, I think, that gave you some level cap boosts. But the major pack they released was Claptrap, and you went inside Claptrap's head, But there was some really nice graphical stuff that they done. Some sort of like illusions and stuff like that were really nice. But again, they added DLC characters to it. So they had the Baroness and someone else, and I can't remember who it was off the top of my head. But there was someone.
I don't even remember before I played.
Wow, she was actually all right because her freezing abilities were quite handy, actually. Sure, it was a frost freezing ability. Plus, she started the game with 30k in cash if you started from scratch.
That makes sense because
fucking handy.
It's the Baroness, yeah. That
Yeah,
kind
she's
of
meant to be rich.
It fits with the name, yeah.
And it's like I remember early on, I'm like, I've got really good gear.
That's who it was, a handsome Jack Doppelganger. That was
Oh
the
yeah.
one. I
Oh,
played.
yeah.
So I played the Doppelganger, and he was quite fun, because he could do like was it a decoy he had? Yeah, so he had a decoy, that got like different abilities and had same shields and shit as you. So that for me was kind of a bit like Gage, because he had like that summon. And I know that Flack has his pets, but they're not quite enough. I don't feel like they do very much. And like, yeah, I know high level builds.
It's not quite the same, yeah.
But Death Trap, Zane did interest me, but then I heard how shit they treated him. So like his Digiclone, you could just swap between the Digiclone and you and just teleport between them. And then he had like the dual action skill, but he like late game he couldn't do shit because his skills were shit. And obviously they fixed them now, but man, I fucking played Borderlands. I've finished it. I've got to level 50. I'm capped out. I'm gonna finish True Vault Hunter. I'm gonna finish the run I've got to do with you. I ain't got time for a fucking Halloween event. I've barely even got time to play half the shit that I'm trying to play right now. Especially considering there's a Star Wars game out next week that's going to be fucking awesome. If not, I'm going to go fucking annihilate.
Break something.
Yeah, I'm going to annihilate EA because this is their last fucking chance to make a good game, and particularly a good Star Wars game, and they've given it to the right fucking people, which are Respawn. So if they fuck
it
this
doesn't make
up,
sense that Respawn make good multiplayer fucking shit, right? And then they've
Yeah.
I'm not faulting them for it. I'm not like not expecting something great, but I'm like, Respawn make good multiplayer shit, and all of a sudden they're making a pretty dope RPG, and I'm just like, okay, I want to see where this goes.
But they've shown that they have chops for story stuff because Titanfall 2, while short, had a really good story.
Titanfall's 2 campaign is very iconic and really interesting as well.
So they've shown that they have that in them. So hopefully that's going to be good. And then there's also Pokemon out. Pokemon's out next Friday.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh jeez.
So you've got Star Wars and Pokemon releasing on the same day.
On the same day?
Yes.
Oh lord.
15th.
Clash of the Titans.
Next, a week on Friday. Both of those games are out. So I have got Sword because I don't like the look of the dog and shield. Because it's just a big mane, whereas the other one looks like whatever that fucking Sith from Dark Souls. The sword in its mouth and stuff. It looks fucking cool. There is a lot of stuff. It's coming up to Christmas. There's a lot of shit coming out. I've played Borderlands. I want to play something else now. And I enjoyed my time with it. And I don't hate the game. I just feel like they're maybe going a little bit too much into this games of a service shit. And it's not a games of a service game. It's a fucking 4-player co-op RPG where you shoot people with big guns
and kill things.
So they need to tone it back and let people have the broken builds. And let people have the fun where they just gib on every hit. You know? Or Flak where he could just super crit all the time. And he can still kind of do that, but it doesn't do as much damage as it used to. And the other thing, so I went in to play a game with Owen. I was like, Owen, go power level one of my characters up. So we switched it to the whatever it is, the other one where you didn't share, like it wasn't shared loot and stuff like that, and levels and stuff. He had to go into a fight with Grave Warden, and it only put me up like 2 levels, and Grave Warden's mid game, and I went in with a 0 level character, and it's mid game, and I got like 4 or 5 levels out of it at most. I was like, wait, what? Because you used to be able to get to like 25, 30 easy just by jumping at someone else's game somewhere between mid game and end game. Can't do that now. Did fight twice as well, so you know, like, it's insane that that's all you get from it. You can't even... So they left that option in so people could power level other characters, but you can't even power level them. So the whole idea of me now having to go and do every single quest again to level another character to 50. I just don't want to do it.
Nah, it's a bit too much at that point.
I'm going to play Story with Bob, because that's just our thing, and we'll eventually get back to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like, meh. DLC
For the casual gamer, quote
DLC,
unquote,
please.
it's not the same, is it?
No, it's
Because
really
you're
not.
Because you don't have the time nor the energy to do the entire thing again.
And they've had
Just for
also-
just for a thing, yeah.
they've had an event on for the last 6 weeks, every week.
That's a long event.
So it's a different thing each week. So they're like changing loot tables and drops and stuff like that. And I get it, you're trying to bring people back and keep them entertained, but changing some drop tables and having guaranteed spawns for enemies, and then having like a Halloween event that's going on until the middle of November is is not great. And one event will cross over into this, so the Mali one that's coming on will start like a week left on the Halloween one. I don't have time to keep up. How do people do this? How do people do this when they have a job and a life and other things that they do? How do people play these, keep
Dedication.
up with these? Like,
Dedication.
I was like, oh, I'm going to keep
And
up
they
with
don't.
Destiny resets since buying Shadowkeep. Nope, missed the last 3 weeks. Haven't caught up with it because I've been so busy with other stuff and other games and helping my friends and it's just I can't keep up with it. I cannot keep up with it anymore. It's going until December the 5th, so it's going on through the
Oh my
Halloween.
Jesus.
The Halloween event is happening through to Christmas.
Oh, so the 5th of December is Christmas.
It's basically it's December. It's
It-
fucking
I'm gonna
Christmas
say
season.
November
December
may
is
as well be
Christmas
Christmas.
then.
November may as well be
Yeah.
Christmas.
At this point,
Like,
might as
have
well.
you not heard Christmas music already? 'Cause I'll be surprised.
Considering the Asda Christmas advert is
Not
up on
yet,
TV,
actually.
then
Really?
M&S. Anyone want to go listen to Christmas music? Apparently M&S is playing it.
Great.
it's November. I used to work in retail and it got earlier. So there was the last year I was there, and this is the last year I ever worked retail, and I will ever work retail again. It was on. So Halloween, so they did like the autumn sales and stuff. It ended. Boom. Christmas music. Christmas displays. It's the first of
Right
November.
after.
Displays, but I've not heard
Oh.
the tune.
It's
We had, at my old job in the trampoline park, our Christmas playlist was only 10 songs long, and you were there
Oh,
for like 8-hour shifts,
Luckily, we had in
and
the
it
warehouse
was a
where we
really
could play our own
boring
music.
job. Yeah, we were.
See you
able
later,
to-
dude. Cheers for coming by.
Bye.
Nice to see you here again.
see you, Owen.
Yeah, no,
Um,
you had to listen to it the whole day, no matter where you were in the building as well. Literally, you'd be
Just
on your lunch
project
break,
it.
just
It's just like
because it had
blast
to be
in.
loud. It had to be loud because it was designed to be music for a trampoline park. So there's all these people shouting and jumping and bouncing, and it's meant to be like, oh, have fun
10
music.
tunes. Oh, even
Literally
the
10.
customers are going to get sick of that.
It got to the point we had radios to obviously like in case someone had an
Yeah.
accident or if we needed something, like a loo break or something, you had a radio. And it got to the point one day it was me, and I'm not very brave about doing these things, and I was just like, can we please listen to something else, because I have heard this song that is playing now 5 times today and I don't want to listen to it anymore. And we did. So we used to get to like halfway through the day and someone would complain and they'd change it back to our normal playlist. And then when the new shift came in, they did
Yeah,
the same
you
thing. So you
switch
got, a
it
couple of,
back.
you got a couple of hours on the new shift of listening to it, and then someone would complain and you switched it off again. Like, so we had both. And then I think a couple of years in, they got a better playlist. But it's still, but Christmas songs are so limited because it's just different versions of Jingle Bells. It may be 5 different versions of Jingle Bells, but the lyrics
It's
are the
just
same.
Michael Bublé.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
So as it turns out, he
original-
fucking hates that.
He does.
He fucking
Really?
hates the Michael
Did it-
Bublé's being defrosted as we
yeah.
speak. He fucking hates it.
He's been different. I love that. Every year, it's just like, oh yeah, you can actually just hear him.
Because he's
open
like,
his
I've done
laptop,
one fucking Christmas album.
and
One.
That's it. Yeah.
yeah, but it's the only good one, isn't it?
That is one of the reasons why, because
It's
his
literally the only Christmas album that people actually like listening to.
for the first
For the first
10
for the day.
times. Well,
No, for the day.
So the problem was for me in retail, right? So we had the warehouse, so we could run away and listen to our own music. But then they found out that I fucking hate Christmas. So the other guys in the warehouse, I'd go away and do something, come back, and they'd
Played it
fucking,
for you.
they'd put the fucking Christmas music on the warehouse. And I'm like, guys, you fucking, you're hurting yourself as well, and it's fucking worth it to piss you off. Yep, that's why I'm not staying for Christmas next year. And I didn't. I left them all in the shit, and I laughed as I walked out the door. Cause it was.
I'd rather be in retail than fast food.
No, you wouldn't. Surprisingly.
In the places around me, fast food is
So
shit.
maybe fast food, but hospitality. So
Yeah.
I said to Scott, who's the sous chef at my work, I says this is the easiest Christmas I have ever worked in my life, because everything comes on trays, right? So you just get these bulk trays, and you just clean it. So it's not like individual pans. You get like tables of 60. So you get like tables of 60. So you just, you've got somebody, two people on a dishwasher, and you got one person washing the trays, and then you do it in sets of 3 or 4 shifts. So you get like a group of like 100 in the morning, and then, or like at 12 o'clock, and then you'll have like a 2-hour break, and you get another group of 100, and that's it. So you just do that for like 3 days a week, and then your normal menu the rest of the time, the usual quieter days. It's the fucking best thing, because you also make like half your payback in tips, which is crazy, just fucking nuts. So it's the easiest and the most relaxing.
But that isn't
Christmas.
fast food. That's what I'm trying to say.
Even then, it depends on where you go.
Yeah, but like I'm just saying, like for me personally, the places around me, there's a reason why I don't go to Mackey's often. Mackey's is good, but nah.
I mean,
It's unhealthy as fuck.
It tastes good, but it's really bad.
What I'm saying is, for the student who goes out every now and then, right, just to get some nugs with your mates, Mackey's isn't the choice for us around here.
I learned yesterday that they are doing the share boxes for the cheese dippers, and I ate an entire one myself.
We got McDonald's breakfast on Sunday.
That was like 16 cheese bites. I was suffering.
I don't rate the cheese bites often, to be honest. Like
it says.
I think I've ever had them.
It
I do
says
not have McDonald's much.
serves 3. Does it?
Does it now?
Challenge accepted,
we felt a bit
motherfucker.
horrible afterwards, so.
Challenge accepted,
mean,
motherfucker.
I think they won.
Every time we used to go to Mackey's, right, each one of us would get a 20-box snugs for ourselves.
Oh man, I did that. So when I worked at Curry's, there was a McDonald's just across the road at, in the retail park it was in. So I would occasionally do that. I would go and buy like chicken McNuggets, and I would be immovable after eating them. I just couldn't get out of my chair. I'm just like, oh my god.
My head nurse at work today forgot her lunch, and I got a WhatsApp message from her. It wasn't even just she came and asked me. I got a WhatsApp message like, I forgot my lunch. You wanna get burgers? Yeah, go on. So we all sat down and had burgers and chips, and I had a milkshake. And then afterwards we were all like, I don't want to do any work. So we're all just wandering around, and like we did get work done, but like I said earlier, I was just doing admin all day because I was just sat in a room like typing on the computer, insurance forms. I don't have to move for insurance forms. It was great.
So we got 10 minutes left.
Mm-hmm.
Who wants it? It's up in the air. Who's gonna grab it?
I think Bob had the best topics.
There we go.
Oh, he's taking it. Yeah. He's taking it.
Bob's win. Bob wins.
I was just gonna ask about people's favorite gaming-related music.
I just blast whatever my soundtrack is for that. The question is, I just blast whatever I've got on my Spotify.
I'm one of the few people that actually apparently enjoys just music in games.
I meant like, did anyone listen? Well, obviously, I don't expect anyone to listen to the Hey Mario. No, the Hey Mario song, which is a love song, but about Mario and how he should give up on Princess Peach, and it's got Mario music. It's got the Mario music in it and the bounce noises, and it's amazing.
The ballad of Waluigi is quite good as well. That's Waluigi singing about himself to Hallelujah.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
What's the Eevee one?
I have no idea. What you got, Bob? What were you going to talk about?
Yeah, Bob, go for it.
It's gone now.
Oh no.
Awesome.
Is it in your list?
It is in my lists. So we briefly mentioned Pokemon earlier.
Mhm.
I didn't actually realize this, but there's been leaks apparently about the gameplay, and Nintendo actually tracked down the culprit.
Oh, I was reading about this. The guy's so fucking
Ooh.
stupid. The
I
guy's
know.
so stupid how he got caught. It's amazing.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
through
Let me
because the
get the
Twitter account
specifics up.
linked to his YouTube, which
Uh,
had a link to
Pokemon
his Facebook, which
leaker.
had his real name.
Right, so.
It was brilliant.
Sure.
It's gone quiet, but
What are
yeah,
you What are you doing, Matt?
No, I'm just wondering if you were gonna
But-
leak something that big,
Yeah.
surely,
Hide your
surely,
tracks.
yeah,
You'd assume that someone in the that
Surely.
business was intelligent enough to follow such an easy trail.
yeah. It's just like, why? Like, first of all, like, I don't want that shit leaked. Like, I want to, like, especially with Pokemon games, I actually want to just have that
Yeah,
feeling
initial
that I had.
wonder.
Yeah, the initial wonder, because I don't get that often in a game anymore.
I don't get
And
that often in my life.
yeah, it's actually something I kind of miss about gaming as a child.
Yeah, you
Is
never knew it was coming.
wonder. Yeah, you never knew it was coming. You never knew what to prepare, so everything was a bit off kilter for you. And then you'd get some enjoyment going through a second and third time with like a more,
Experience and
yeah,
knowledge.
experience plan. But then you get to a point where you're just repeating the game the same way,
Yeah.
or occasionally you're setting yourself arbitrary challenges to really kind of milk out more gameplay.
Mm.
And yeah, I'm just kind of like, it's rare. Like I've recently had a bit of a touch of that with playing Canarium on Epic Game Store because it was free for a bit, and I picked it up then.
Mm.
And yeah, I'm actually enjoying it. It's completely new sort of locales, settings. I've never really played any Lovecraftian based games before, so it's actually quite enjoying it. A bit of a new story and a plot. Nothing's scared me yet, but I expected things to be scary, so that kind of helps me kind of shield against that. But it's also just exploring these new weird ruins that are all sort of Cthulhu-esque and whatnot. It's just like, ooh, nice architecture. Yeah, John, you.
I'm trying to find the specific set of circumstances as to how they found them, but I've lost the article because it's insane.
What about your history?
The one I pinged earlier.
It might be
Because there was details in there. I didn't finish reading it earlier.
Scroll up on Discord.
Let's have a look. See
Yep.
if I can.
The leaks. So I've just
Yeah, it
Nintendo
was.
Soup.
It
.com.
was. I remember this now. Yeah. So, from a single profile pic, they not only found the culprit, but the dude's channel, which connected to a Facebook thing, which showed his real profile identity, which revealed everything. That isn't a chain reaction of insanity. I don't know what is. Through his profile picture, they got to his real Facebook and found out his real name, and then went arrest him.
Yep.
Because now they're wondering
brilliant.
how they managed to get his hands on an early copy of the game.
They think he was a reviewer, like one of these people that they will send an early copy to.
So what are the consequences for him? Have they said? Like,
Nah, not yet.
I'm
It's,
intrigued as
if
to
it is
know
if it is a
what will
reviewer,
happen.
then it's breaching NDA and
Oh,
there's a-
100%.
straight up right. And there's a bunch of stuff tied to that set by Nintendo on whatever happens if you breach that contract.
Yeah.
So there'll be
You know,
that
it's starting to
added
get
with
work
a bunch
out
of
of
other
it.
stuff, probably. I'd assume.
Yeah. I don't get why you would do that.
No, it's,
Like,
especially when you've done
yeah.
not much homework in terms of
Yeah, you're hiding
securing
your
your account.
identity.
and
Yeah.
and as such your identity. Like,
I mean,
surely.
like, but even if you had, like, what's the point? Like, let them release
Yeah.
the game on time. Like, what are you getting from it? Like, how much did he get paid to release it?
Yeah, like that
Yeah,
kind of
that's
thing.
the
If
thing.
it like you probably wouldn't do it out of your own choice. It would probably
Yeah.
be some sort of
Well,
offer or something made.
there'll be motivation. There'll be people who are
Yeah,
like, "Oh, I'm gonna get it early off of this guy,"
that kind
whatnot.
of thing, right? Yeah.
Mm.
So when
Um,
I doubt, or at least I hope, it wasn't just a one-off person, like a person on his own doing something, because that's just
Mm.
straight up dumb,
Yeah.
and I
yeah,
couldn't imagine that happening. Whereas, yeah, that's why I'm assuming that it was someone or an external influence, having some sort of,
So
uh,
there was
yeah,
a thing
But then that means
though.
somebody else is going through the effort of paying someone or something.
There was an
no,
art
yeah,
which
book.
again
no.
is a strange one.
Why?
There was an art book that some of the original leaks came from, but the leaks that this guy was in trouble for was like full Pokédex entries and stuff like that.
Mm.
Yeah,
All of it. So, although how he's able to see that in the game before it's released and he's caught everything, I don't know.
well, if he's got a game, then the
Not
game.
many details are going to be shown in that respect, are they? Until the
Yeah.
game's released, at the very least. Because it's stuff that it doesn't necessarily need to be shared by Nintendo.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
'cause
it's weird because Nintendo are playing it quite close to their chest with this one, because normally they would show off all three starters, full evolutions, and all sorts of stuff. But
Yeah.
they've been
Yeah.
real quiet about
Yeah.
showing stuff off. They've more talked about the world and some of the other gameplay features than the actual
Yeah,
Pokemon.
than the actual, yeah.
I think maybe some
There's
of
a few
that came
people.
down
There's
to
a
being
few
worried
people
that.
that have been announced though already.
Yeah, I think they've maybe kept quite a lot of it secret because of how the reaction was to them not being every Pokemon in the game. Maybe just got on watching. Maybe we won't talk about it too much. Just.
But
in
then
case.
the classic thing with any Pokemon game is that in a single playthrough you can't get all of them. You need to trade with people. You need to sometimes replay bits, because that was kind of part of it.
Yeah.
Was like, I mean, I think with Red and Blue originally it was because there just wasn't quite enough storage availability for them to actually have one version that contained everything.
Mm.
But then you could still fill out the entire Pokedex if you traded with friends and what.
Yeah.
But like they couldn't have enough like data for them all to be combat ready and whatnot, and have wild locations for everything. And
That, and
the
essentially
full
what it
shebang.
really boils down to is in the pro games, the amount of balance patching that they would have to do on over
Yes.
900 Pokemon at this point would be insane. And I don't blame them for going, we just don't want to do that. Makes sense.
Yeah, it's a lot of effort for no reward, really.
Yeah.
Go back one
not too much.
generation and you can get all your Pokemon in that game. They are working on ways to have like a Pokemon bank. You just won't be able to have them in certain games. Big
Yeah.
fucking whoop, get over it. It's Pokemon. You
Well,
had
it's
to know.
It's how it's been for a while, anyway.
You
so-
had to know it was going to happen eventually. You had to know it was going to have to happen eventually. And to be honest with you, I have always played Pokemon where I capture what I like. I am not going out of my way to find Pokemon
to complete the
from
Pokedex. Yeah.
Gen 1.
Likewise.
when you've got a brand new generation of Pokemon there, and you've got like Corviknight, the big fucking Raven Knight dude that I'm definitely taking on straight away, because that thing's fucking awesome. Like, why are you gonna just go, oh no, these Pokemon? Nah, you see, I want my original 150 because I've got like shiny Mewtwo, and who gives a
Yeah.
fuck? Play the game that you've got in front of you. Play the game.
See, I
It's just people, because like obviously every year the standards go up, right? The expectations go up in some sense, so that's gonna be part of it. So that's people just over expecting stuff, because
Yeah.
obviously you want to be hyped for the game, right? And so obviously you
but
raise the bar personally for what you expect to see, and when that doesn't happen, some people are obviously just like, oh yeah, that's just kind of expected, but obviously would have been good if so and so happened.
And
But there
that's
are
how
always
we
gonna be
end
people-
up with Twitter twats.
Yeah, essentially.
You're
There's
not
always gonna be
giving me
people-
what I want. I'm gonna complain
Rah.
and make a fucking boycott, and I'm gonna shit all over your company and pretend I'm like God's gift to everything, and you're not. You're a fucking single person. Get a grip of yourself and live your fucking life, you little basement fucking nerd. Ugh. God, I hate people like that.
see one of the things I was fancying with Sword and Shield is the fact that it's a completely new set of Pokemon. I'll get that bit of sense of wonder and
because you're always going to
know,
be like, oh shit,
yeah.
I haven't seen one of those before.
Well, I
yeah,
mean,
exactly. I'll be like, ooh, what is that? I'll actually want to learn. It would be like the first time I ever collected Pokemon cards. It's kind of like, oh wow, I've never seen that before.
I don't
very
know.
cool.
I would temper your expectations for how many new Pokemon there actually are.
Well,
I
it's
don't
all
know.
new again, is it not?
I don't know the specific number.
We'll see.
Well,
We'll be see.
but it
But
doesn't have to be a full 100
you
or
will
150.
get
No.
you will get a lot of old Pokemon in there from other generations as well.
Yeah.
To fill out.
They pad them out.
Yeah,
'Cause-
so I wouldn't expect to see like everything be brand new. There's certainly
Oh,
going to be
yeah,
a
of
lot of
course.
new Pokemon,
Yeah.
but so I have looked at some of the evolutions and some of them are quite cool, and I think I know kind of who I'm going to be looking at. But we're actually me and Caitlin might be planning like an interesting thing of doing like Pokemon where one of us is in control of like the names and what gets captured, and the other one just has to deal with it. So, tight matchups and stuff like that won't matter because I'll just be stuck with something that's shit. But with Pokemon now, you can have separate saves and profiles. So
Yes.
you're no longer locked
Which
into
is-
one thing.
Which is really quite new, yeah. Whereas before you only had one
Yeah.
save.
Well, it was from Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu.
Yeah.
So. All right, guys,
That's
that's 11 o'clock. What are you gonna say,
Oh, yeah.
Bob? What were you gonna say?
I was just going to say is like the fact that multiple people can save with the same cartridge now is like
Yeah.
It's new.
future.
Yeah. For
So-
Pokemon especially, yeah.
That is 11 o'clock. We've had an interesting evening with some channel stuff coming soon. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. Misadventure Inc on all of them. Go find us. Go follow, like, whatever you want to do. Retweets, stuff. I don't know. Those are buzzwords for Twitter, right? I don't know. I'm an old man. Leave me alone.
Get off my lawn.
Okay, boomer.
So there's new content coming soon. D&D will start hopefully in January. We will be up either one or two more people for that. And that's kind of it from me. We will have another guest next week, which will be a friend of mine who runs a gaming cafe thing in Aberdeen. So look forward to that. Nelly, anything from you before we go?
Nope, I'm good.
Standard response. Good. I'm glad things don't change. Matt?
I need to do more things in my life before it changes.
Actually, no, hang on. I'm introducing a new segment.
Okay.
It's called Homework.
Okay.
Oh,
And I'm going to do it once and see how it goes. So your homework for the next 2 weeks, and we'll come back to this in 2 weeks, and I'll do it myself as well, is to go through your list, even if it's just a small list of games that you have on whatever platforms, and play something you haven't played before, and then come back next week and tell me what you thought of it.
I don't have time.
Nelly, I didn't specify how long you had to play said game for.
Ah, but I have to install something.
There's no specifics there, just...
My Steam library is huge.
I'm gonna get that cat game that we taught cat
Oh my
Quest.
god, actually do it.
Fair enough, do it.
I'm gonna get
Do
cat
it.
Yeah.
That's
Quest.
your thing
That's a
for
game you've never
come
played.
back in
But I
2
just-
weeks.
But I just unearthed Red Dead 2 again.
but you played that.
You have played that.
before,
I'm trying to get you guys out of
but I
comfort zones.
lost it.
Specifically, Nelly, because you don't play anything other than Overwatch. So,
And Red Dead 2.
yeah, but then how long ago was the last time you played Red Dead 2?
Like a week whilst I was waiting for people to come onto Overwatch.
So there you go. Let's get
busy.
out of comfort zones and play things that we haven't necessarily. Because I went through my Steam list and I went, "What the fuck is half of this shit?" So time to start figuring that out. So that's your
Should I
homework.
play, what was the game that Phil loved? I
Yep.
can't think of the name. But I own it.
Everspace.
Hoonie Pop.
Maybe you should
Oh, God.
I own that.
go play it. Go play it. If you haven't played it before, go play it.
No.
Matt, your homework is specific. You play something not made by Ubisoft.
Shit. No, actually, psych, because I've been playing Tarkov, so haha. Got him.
Play something else, not baby.
Play something that isn't a shooter. Oh shit, okay, then I'm stuff there, aren't I?
Just get cat quest as well then.
Yeah, get catches with me.
It's actually super easy
Hey,
to
it's
play.
our first game club.
I mean, it may well be. It may be the first starting point for kicking it off, but we'll see what happens. Bob, you can just play someone different. I don't know.
Cat quest.
And then
Yeah, man.
I don't know. I think my homework will
Tell
be.
you what.
Do you know what my homework is?
Play something off your shelf that you haven't played.
I
Just
my
bought and put
my
down.
homework is in the next 2 weeks to have finished all of Assassin's Creed Odyssey in terms of story and DLC. Not 100% completion, because fuck that. But I will make sure that in the next 2 weeks I will have completed the full story and all DLCs for. Yeah, Bob, there's a problem with me playing that. It's not here.
Oh, no, I was for fingering myself.
That was for him.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I think you should play something that's on your shelf behind you, John, that you haven't played. Seeing as you commented earlier that you kept buying things and putting it on your shelf.
So, do you know what? I was actually thinking about doing that. So, I will put something on there that I haven't played before. There's plenty on there that I haven't played before, but I've been like, ooh.
You have to have played at least 10 Your homework is you have to have played at least 10 minutes of every single one of those games.
If that's my homework, you have to finish whatever you pick.
Cat quest.
Get Chris.
Cat quest.
That's a much longer game than you think it is.
Yeah, it's not.
Yes.
It's not a short game. Can I play that Mushroom Cats game?
You've already played it.
Damn it. That's only 60 seconds.
That's
Especially when you know where all the hats are.
that's the homework. So we've all to go play something that we haven't played before. Matt specifically, not Ubisoft, because it's all he plays.
Don't call me out like this, man. Don't call me out. I'm still waiting on something to do with Ubi soon, so follow me on Twitter, by the way, guys. I got some some news coming up soon. Hopefully, when shit gets finalized
Cool.
and stuff gets put out, then yeah.
Being naturally segued into Matt's outro.
Yep. Bob, anything to say before you go?
I have shiny.
Cool.
Which Ryzen is that actually? Which
It's this the 2700X.
2700 Ryzen 7700, so second gen
Yeah.
Ryzen 7. So I've
Yeah.
got a Ryzen 5 3600 in my.
Yeah, I was looking at the 3700, but I just couldn't quite afford that one. But the
That's-
2700X, so it's slightly more advanced than standard.
That's how you know that Bob's finished mostly paying off all the problems he had when he bought his house. He's finally bought his computer parts.
You see that? There's still the more. It's,
Yeah, but I mean, like, I'm talking about, you know, the fact you couldn't have your fridge in your kitchen.
What, in your kitchen?
He couldn't have his fridge. I went to, so, like, not long after he moved in,
yeah,
I went to his
yeah.
house and his fridge was in his living room because he couldn't put it anywhere because the fridge they had was too big for the space that was there, so they had to modify the space to fit it in. And then
Yeah,
his
we've
washing
still got
machine
that
died,
a
and
lot.
his tumble dryer died, and just everything. Like,
Everything went fucking wrong.
so it's just all these
Had
unnecessary
to-
expenditure
Had
after
to
just
buy
buying
and
a
fit a new
house.
sink trap twice because of leaks.
And I felt really
Ah.
bad because, like, he's my best friend, but I laughed my fucking ass off when he kept telling me it was, and another thing's broke, and I'm just like, that's really shit, Bob,
thing
but it's
is-
really funny.
The thing is, it's like, right, I get great things happened. I've bought a house. There's going to be some bad stuff coming, but does it have to happen so fucking soon?
It's like every time he told me, I'm like, Bob, I'm sorry, but you know I'm gonna laugh, man, because this is just getting funnier. What's next? Just the fucking ceiling's gonna come down.
It's fine. I think the second
Please
day
don't.
we were here, the washing machine exploded and water flooded the whole of
Oof.
half of our downstairs.
Nice.
And we just brought the cats home, so then also the cat pooped in the house because they got shut in the wrong part of the house away from the litter tray whilst they tried to clear up the mess, and apparently she really needed the loo. So there was flood water in some parts of the house and cat poops in other part of the house.
Oh.
So
He was right by the loo though, so she really tried to get it in the right place.
that's gonna be it from us for this cast. Next week there's
Yeah.
nothing happening. You might get a game club from me and Bob. We'll see. But
Or
we'll be back.
tumbleweed.
Or we'll be back in 2 weeks with the next cast. Fuck you, Matt. I'm gonna just
Well, it might be.
gloss over that. No,
Might
that'll
be,
be.
no.
I want to aim to get something up on the channel each week because I think
Yeah.
Bob is done with his Minecraft stuff for now. So
I'm done with the particular series.
Yeah.
I'm not done with
for now.
Minecraft itself per se, but I need to actually have something.
New to do.
Planned
Yeah, I
out.
think I need to recharge a bit. Basically, is where I'm
definitely.
at.
So I'm aiming to hopefully have at least something new up on the channel once a week.
Okay.
Whether it's podcast or eventually it will be like D&D podcast. But then I want to do more stuff on camera and more sort of discussion than just playing games, because I've done that for most of my life, and I quite like just the silence and absorbing a game instead of having to talk all the time. So that's gonna be us. We'll see you in 2 weeks. See you later, guys. Bye.
See you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.